speaking of the masajid, as you have stated earlier, what about the blessings? If we can talk about, because we're talking about prayers as well with the masajids, what do you think about the blessings of the night prayer? If you can kindly help me out with this one, as I
Sure.
personally share the same interest in this particular matter.
There's no doubt night prayer in general, it's a great act of worship. قُمِ اللَّيْلَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. It was an obligation in the beginning of Islam on Muhammad sallallahu and the Sahaba. Then after that, it became just a recommended act. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam never missed his witr if he's resident or traveling. It's da'bu salihin. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it is the custom or the habit or the practice of the righteous people from before us, nations before us, knowing that the night, it is a place where you spend a portion of it praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, supplicating. الَّذِينَ يَبِيتُونَ لِرَبِّهِمْ سُجَّدًا وَقِيَامًا. Those who spend the night in sujood and qiyam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us, He said, وَقُومُوا لِلَّهِ قَانِتِينَ. Stand for Allah subhanahu wa before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with qunut, which it means full humility, full submission, full obedience, with a complete sincerity. كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يهجعون وبالأسحار هم يستغفرون. They will sleep very little. تتجافى جنوبهم عن المضاجع يدعون ربهم خوفا وطمعا. They will leave the bed, the comfortable bed, just to stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because this is a connection. This is a very special time. Very few people understand the sweetness of it. And by the way, I understand that some people might say, I don't feel that special about it. It's kind of not as easy as you guys saying it, and it's hard. And I understand that. Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah said, يقول كابدت قيام الليل 20 سنة. I was struggling with qiyam al-layl 20 years, but I enjoyed it after that more than 20 years. So it might take a little bit of effort. It's like when you have a wild horse. This is our nafs. It's like a wild horse. In order for you to break it and taming it, it takes time and it takes practice and it takes effort until you break that wild spirit and make it committed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is expected from us, especially during the days of Ramadan, is to invest a lot of time in the night in the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said, من قام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. Whoever pray in the night of Ramadan for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake, Allah will forgive his sins, all the previous sins, all the sins that he committed in the past, and reported by Bukhari or Muslim. That's why it is in Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Ramadan used to pray. And by the way, in Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray at home. He only prayed 3 or 4 nights with the companions. But the rest of the years, the rest of Ramadans, okay, he was praying at home, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as well as Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu ardah time. People used to pray at home or pray in small groups in the masjid. And after that, Umar radiallahu anhu, in the beginning of Umar's time, as Ibn Shihab said, وَصَدْرًا مِنْ خِلَافَةِ Umar, and in the beginning of Umar's time, the same case. Until one day he saw them, different groups praying together. And he said, why don't we let them pray behind one imam? And that's where the concept of Taraweeh became regulated from that time. It was not initiated at that time, but it was regulated more. Instead of them praying in small groups in one masjid, they pray behind one imam. And he appointed Ubay ibn Ka'b to lead the salah and Tamim al-Dari to lead as well. He used to lead women in salah. And he might also lead men as well. But if you notice, Umar radiallahu anhu came later on, he saw them praying. He was not praying with them. So that means he was praying by himself. It is highly recommended to pray in the masjid. And Jumhur al-Fuqaha said it's the best thing is to pray in the masjid. Because the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, as Imam Ahmad was asked about this, which one is better, to pray at home or pray in the masjid congregation? Imam Ahmad said, yes, it is in the masjid, because the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Man salla ma'al imam hatta yansarif, kutiba lahu qiyamu layla. Whoever prayed with the imam until the imam finished, as if he prayed the whole night. But in the midst of this pandemic, I highly recommend the area where this virus is spread and the country's rules and regulations order you to stay at home and not to gather in groups, even at home, to pray with your family, to pray by yourself, you know. And inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you are among those who are in the habit of praying in the masjid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the reward as if you prayed in the masjid. But you pray at home, you enjoy your salah. And a lot of people think Salat Tarawih has to be so long. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his salah, yes, it was long, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As Ibn Abbas prayed behind him once, and it was a long prayer. And then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, during the salat, sometimes he would touch his Ibn Abbas' ears, you know, wipe over his head, just to wake him up. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ibn Mas'ud prayed with him, Jabir prayed with him, and they described how long salah it was during the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that he will pray Al-Baqarah wa Ali Imran wa Nisa. This one incident. But also another incident, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam didn't pray this whole long prayer. He prayed the whole night, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, repeating one verse in the Quran. إِن تُعَذِّبْهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ عِبَادُكَ وَإِن تَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ فَإِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. And if you punish them, they are your servants. And if you forgive them, you are Al-Aziz Al-Hakim, the Almighty, wise, powerful, and dignified. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَقْرَأُوا مَا تَيَسَّرَ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ. Read whatever you can from the Quran. So it is not has to be a very long prayer during that Taraweeh. But the most important thing is to become something that you invest a lot of khushu' in. You can repeat the same surah if you don't memorize many surah. And if you don't memorize any surah, you can read from the Mus'haf. Aisha radiallahu anha wa ardaha, she used to let her ghulam, her servant, the Quran, lead the salah, and he used to read from the Mus'haf. الزهري rahimahullah said, and Zuhri is a tabi'i, said, كان خيارنا, the best among us, يقرؤون من المصاحف. We used to read from the Mus'haf. So the Jumhur fuqaha, the Shafi'iyya will say this is correct, and the Hanabila, many of the Malikis will say it's correct. The Hanafi, they might be a little bit strict about this because they don't allow movement in the Salah. But even if you put the Mus'haf in front of you, according to some of the Hanafi, that will be acceptable. There's another group of them who might not agree because some of the Ahnaf consider this talqeen, as if somebody talking to you. That's why they invalid. But that's it's a small group of scholars comparing to the vast majority. And we have an evidence and a practice of the Salaf, Kana bin Wahb, who's one of the best students of Imam Malik, rahimahullah, used to hold the Mus'haf and read from it in the Salah. And some ulama said reading from the Mus'haf is another ibadah other than just reciting the Al-Quran. You can lead your family. And obviously, a female cannot lead male. She can lead children who are less than 10 years old. And 10 and up can lead the Salah as well, to encourage them to lead the Salah, as long as they know the ruling of the Salah. A lot of people went to, I don't want to go into detail to this, but I just want to say one point about it. I'm not sure if you guys discussed this or not.
No, please go ahead, please.
The issue of, a lot of people went and came up with this opinion that, hey, why don't you pray behind an imam who, like a virtual Taraweeh prayer? Okay, and they mean by that, you pray behind an imam who's somewhere else, like maybe in the masjid or some country, as long as you guys in the same time. And this fatwa is fatwa shadda. It's an odd, rejected fatwa. With all due respect for the scholars or the student of knowledge who said it. Some of them are colleagues, some of them are friends, some of them are, people that I have respect for, but it doesn't matter because this has nothing to do with them. It has to do with the opinion that they take. I want you to remember this, that this is not a new thing. The existence of radio and TV been around for decades, okay? Still, the entire Muslim world, Council of Fiqh, Egypt, the Council of Fiqh in Egypt, the Council of Fiqh for the Muslim world Thai, the Council of Fiqh from India, Europe to the United States, if there is any Council of Fiqh that you can think of, they all agree that this salah is invalid and this salah is not allowed. And for some people to say this is only because of COVID-19, that's not true. The way they base their fatwa is not based on COVID-19. It's based on the permissibility of praying behind someone who is you not with, literally. So if this is the base of the fatwa, you cannot restrict it to COVID-19. You cannot restrict it to, nafil salah. It became contradictions in your statement.
Most definitely.
That means that you open the salah for people to pray Jumu'ah from their work. Just turn on my cell phone. And I want to say something in regard to this. I'm not going to go into I only have maybe 1 minute left or something like that.
No, we wish, of course, to always learn, because to be very honest with you, Dr. Waleed, mashallah, from the beginning, as you have started stating the points, from beginning with the Prophet ﷺ until Salafus Salih, and until we have reached the jurisprudential consensus of the scholars is regarding the COVID-19 and the trend of today. What I've also personally learned is, mashallah, that Allah's religion is so easy and at the same time very restrictive with basis of proof and evidence. We thank you very much, Dr. Waleed, for your time today, and we always wish to have you with us. May Allah bless you and protect you and your loved ones and the entire Muslim nation around the world. And we hope to see you again. Of course, you are a very beautiful part of the Huda Network family.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Have a blessed Ramadan. And please don't distract yourself over a fiqh debate. Then we forget the concept, which is as-salah.
Definitely. May Allah bless you, Dr. Waleed. Thank you so much for your knowledge.